it's a hyper technical maneuver. And it depends on how big the guy is, right? Larger guys, it's harder to do. I'm gonna use you when we do the long one. It's harder to do, you gotta know what body type you're dealing with. Okay, one of the best ones that I ever saw do this was Barrett Yoshida when he did an instructional on this. It was phenomenal. And that's really where I kind of took all of my elements of this. So I'll give a shout out to Barrett, because if you ever seen that guy, super small, but he has some of the most ridiculous closed guard arm bars you ever seen in your life. So there's some small elements of this that we have to get, right? The first thing is, for me, so everybody come on this side. All right, so typical guard, okay? High, low. We're gonna go on to this one here in just a minute. The main thing is that we have to remember here is arm bars are all about controlling this right here. This is really all this is. Controlling this right here and being able to maneuver our hips, okay? So old school said, you know, they taught it, go here, raise up and close this distance. I've always found this to be terribly inefficient, because by the time I actually climb up, the first thing that happens is that elbow starts getting pulled back and I'm losing it. And I'm like, next thing you know, I've got an open guard here and he's framing out against my leg, and then he gets knee cutting and all this garbage. And I've lost more battles trying that armbar that way than I ever won, and it just never seemed to be super efficient. So one of the coolest things that I ever saw about closed guard arm bars that just kind of was a light bulb moment, is like, aha, was it was focused on make them put their forearm down, no matter where they put it. Just make them get the forearm down. Now we can do that many ways, right? So we've got the ability to move, we've got this. I've also got the ability to grab the head. So I don't even have to really worry about controlling the armbar right yet, because I'm not trying to get to high guard. And the other key is getting to high guard. We need to get up over the shoulder. So we're gonna use the apex of the shoulder to help climb our guard up. When I get to here, I don't have to worry really about this arm just yet, because if I can control his head, and I may even just be controlling the wrist, I can break his posture now and get that elbow down. So once that forearm goes down, now we're in business. So I'm grabbing at the tricep. I'm not grabbing way down here at the forearm, at the elbow. I'm grabbing right here at the tricep. And I want to give him just enough movement, just enough ability to move, because all I'm doing right here with this is preventing it from coming back. That's all I'm really doing, because he's immediately going to start trying to posture himself back up and lock his arm out. Now, that'll be the second arm bar here in just a second. So from here, if I can control this and get him to put his forearm down, whether it's here, okay, it can be way over here, or it can be right here. A lot of guys will try to do this. They'll try to dump it down, okay? All I got to do to get him to bring that back inside is just give him a little bit more posture. So if I want to let this slide on the inside, I'm going to give him some more posture. So as he comes back up, he readjusts with his posture, and what happens to the arm? Goes right back inside. Now what's going to happen here is as soon as he opens all this up, look, all this is closed down, and you can see he's closed this off. This elbow is way inside my guard on this side, but he's opened all this up, and I'm stuck to him because I've got his head. So now all we're going to do is we're going to open this up, and I'm going to take this path here up to the top of the shoulder. Boom. Now I make one little movement here. I'm not pulling and I'm not swinging my hips out, because again, that opens this up, right? I'm not doing that. What I'm doing here is I'm holding here. I'm going to push his head. I'm pushing it. I'm locking my elbow out, but I'm just holding his elbow. I'm not doing anything. I can't stress this enough. It's a huge little nugget here that when I learned this, my arm bars went through the friggin' roof. From here, okay, so as I'm holding, I'm gonna push the head over, and I'm just holding the tricep. So that minute that I push the head over and I'm holding the tricep, boom, now I can get to my high guard. I didn't move his arm at all. His arm stayed in the same place. I just offset my whole body by pushing his head. I just held his tricep. Now I go right up the back of the arm. I go right here. He never had a chance to get that elbow inside to frame out. Whereas before, if I just try to turn myself and kick out, he's got that arm right inside there and he can post. Okay, so here, I'm holding, I get his elbow to go down, boom. I give him just enough posture that I can push off to the side here, and I'm holding his tricep, and then I just walk my leg up and climb. Now I'm in high guard, okay? Now I can make my switch. Now I can cave the leg in. Now I can go off. Now I can finish. Picture perfect armbar. Okay? So the key being is that I'm holding that head, I'm pushing it, and I'm locking my elbow like I'm pushing him away. Pushing him away. Now I just that shoulder's accessible, and I use it as like a ladder to climb myself up. Boom. Now's the switch. Now's this. Now's that. Now's my finish. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3. High side. Now this is another interesting one that that I came across. Looking at angles, right? If you sit down and you become a student of the game and you break it down, we got to be able to do something if we can't get him down. So get to this position here, and he's like, this is not working, right? I can't get him down. But what happens is, at some point in time, these guys always make the decision to vacate this grip on the hip, and they start trying to work back. Maybe he's going to try to work back onto my knee, something like that. This is where I find that this armbar hits, and it hits beautifully. I don't necessarily need to get this elbow down if he gives me a nice high profile over the shoulder right here. I do, however, have to have him vacate the hand off the hip, because if the hand stays on the hip, it's hard for me to get up, and he's just going to flare out. Now, the second that I can off-balance him enough to move that hand, like if I'm going here and he posts that hand off to the side, you know, now I'm good because I can close this gap. Now, all I want to do, guys, I just want to get my hips up. So I don't want my hips laying on the ground. I get my head control, I get my hips up. From right here, I can climb, but I don't need to put my foot in the hip and do the old, you know, old school day one Gracie Jiu-Jitsu where we were all taught, get up here. I don't need this. I don't need to step right here because I'm going to use this to pull me up, okay? And I might armbar him in the process. So from here, once I deal with this and this starts to vacate and I can get my hips up, I'm going to get my hips up by using my guard, by leaving my guard closed. So I get to here, okay? I'm going to climb the guard up as high as I can in his back, and I'm going to start climbing as high as I possibly can, even if the hand is in the hip. So I'm up here, I'm gonna get up as high as I possibly can. Remember, I'm just hooking the elbow. I'm not trying to pull it, okay? Same, I'm gonna kind of turn off to the side. I'm pushing his head away. Now this foot is gonna hook the shoulder, and then I'm gonna climb up it, okay? I just hook the shoulder and climb up it. That's my ladder right there. So we're still long, okay? I'm in this position here. Now I can come here and I can push the head away. Now I can cross, and this one is ultra tight. His arm's already extended. So I'm looking for this high side. I'm literally going to climb him, but I'm not going to use the opening of the guard to do so. I'm not going to go here so that he has the opportunity to blade out, okay, kill him. So here, right, controlling the elbow. It all starts with this movement here. Then I'm going to push off to the side, right? This leg's going to come higher. This leg's gonna come up, and I'm just gonna climb from that elongated arm position, okay? So I get to this position here. Notice this is a super tight armbar. His arm's really elongated. I'm just gonna squeeze in, push away, and go ahead and finish, okay? So again, I'm gonna fill this gap right here. This is what I gotta watch out for. So I'm controlling my head. He's staying stiff, not letting me go anywhere. I'm gonna lift my hips up, okay, climbing as best I can. He may still stiffen and look up. Nice, stiffen and looked up. I came up over the shoulder and I'm climbing, okay? As soon as I climb, catch, lock, shift around. Now I'm up over the nape of the head, so I'm controlling him. Lift your head up. Much more difficult. If I'm down here, lift your head up. Takes me all the way over. So be out over the head, okay? This one's closing this direction. Let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3. Angle. Angles. Okay. So the question always becomes, why is it so much more difficult, you know, to launch up to a high guard position from straight on when we're like this? Okay, essentially I'm parallel with him. We're both in the same line. Why is it so much more difficult to get to high guard? Guys, high guard, for purposes of closed guard arm bars, high guard is kind of your secret weapon. It's hard to replace how good arm bars are when you try to think of them in 2 stages. I'm going to launch to high guard instead of making the real dynamic ones where you swing out and you just all go for it all at once, right? We're talking of this one right here. It's like elbows down. I get him here. Boom, I'm trying to go here. Yeah, they're pretty, you know, but I can count on one hand in 23, 3 or 4 years now, how many of those I've hit like that. And if I do hit them at all, they're on like base level entry guys. I don't hit them at a high level. So the setup matters. Every time that I've set this up and I've started learning to set this up from diamond or what we call high guard, it's just went through the roof on consistency as far as how often it hits. So the question is why does it work? Does it not work as well when you're trying to throw it parallel? Meaning, if his arm is here and here and I'm holding the tricep and I can get my foot up here, yes. But why can't I, because I'm controlling, why can't I get up here as easy from this one? Because he can shrug his shoulder out. So as soon as I shoot my head up there, he shrugs his shoulder out and the apex right here of the shoulder leaves, it's gone, okay? Not to mention that I'm trying to climb my hips up along this hard edge right here where I'm trying to get up on top of him. And if he moves his elbow outboard just a little bit, he kills my climb, okay? Even if I'm holding, he can still move his arm. I'm not completely dominating this arm. So as soon as I throw up here and he goes like that, he beats my attempt to get up onto the high guard, okay? So why does it not work? That's why, because I'm fighting this arm right here. It's kind of this hard defense. As soon as I turn to a perpendicular angle, that all changes. It kind of goes out the window, because as soon as I get turned to this angle here and I'm still holding, I can outmaneuver that movement right there. I can outmaneuver that and I can climb because I can bring my foot in really close to his head. So as soon as I get in here, I can outmaneuver him. Even if he shrugs it out, he can put his head clean against his shoulder. He's not getting rid of that for me to climb up onto. Now here, he shrugs his shoulder in. I come up onto there, he can push off of it. I lose it. He can try that going the other way because I'm still here and I can still hold on to him. I can come through, okay? If he shrugs it off and gets perpendicular or parallel, then I'm good to go. So as I turn, if I come up here and he shrugs, as soon as he shrugs, I'm climbing with him, coming up, and I lock my feet, and now his elbow is deep into this armbar, okay? If I miss it, turn sideways, I wind up kind of back to parallel. I'm just gonna shove the head offline again and push, and I'm gonna come out wide, see, and go up onto his arm, and I'm gonna get right back to that high guard position. So the question becomes, how do I get turned so good, so effectively? Old way was we had to get turned. I remember this one was a big one. It was here. It was, I'm gonna sweep my feet, I'm gonna get turned out this way. I'm pushing off of the hip, right? But I was always just told, hold the head. And they always pulled their arm out. Just like, pull their arm out, or he'd lift it up and postured up. I'm not doing that, okay? What I'm doing here is my guard is staying tight, keeping my guard closed. I'm gonna hold here, and his arm is gonna be extended, so he's long, and I'm gonna take him this way. I'm pushing his head over here, and I'm holding his tricep. Now, I'm gonna pull this leg back, recoil up, and I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna climb from a perpendicular angle. So it's all in pushing that head that gets me there. Then I'm gonna switch. Then I'm gonna switch. Then I'm gonna comb the head. Then I'm gonna get up over the back of the nape of the neck. So this push, when he's long like this, is how I hit every single one of them. I hit this far more than I hit the one where he's down on his elbow. Because they always want to push, and they may be pushing off the hip as well. So I go here, and I turn in this direction here, and I start to push away, and I just climb up on his shoulder, and I get to high guard. And he's already set and he's done, okay? So understanding that perpendicular angle there gives you a better purchase on that shelf so that you can lift up and start to climb your legs up. All right, that's huge. Here we go, 1, 2.